It's sad news. Sorry.
Well, sad, kind of, but come on, we kind of knew it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, at some stage, yep.
It's not unexpected, because even he was saying, look, I was going to leave the end of this year. That's why he did the thing with River Song, and then he decided to hang around for one more year. Well. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files. I, of course, am your host, Dr. Freedom, and tonight we got hit with a surprise bit of news. It's kind of sort of not unexpected, but I'm just shocked that they're announcing it this soon. And that is that Exit the Moth, enter the Chibi.
Chip.
Or the Chib. Well, I don't know. We'll figure a nickname. I figure by the end of this first series, someone will be calling him Asshole.
Exit. Yeah.
Come on.
By the end of the first episode, probably.
Exactly. Poor fella. I don't know if he knows what he's in for, the poor sucker. Okay, let's intro everybody real quick. Let's get hey there, hi there, ho there's from everyone. Let's start with Graham.
Somebody somewhere just lifted their head from a pile of urine. They're excited. Wow, good to be here. What the hell was that?
I have not a clue.
That is what happens when there's a 2-year-old around with an addiction to these crack-headed chipmunks.
Okay, Phillip.
Good evening, hello, and hallelujah, everybody.
Yeah. 6 months. No, about a year and 6 months from now, you're going to be going, I miss you. Okay, Matt Rose.
Hello.
Okay, Vil.
Howdy-ho!
The Beefhead.
Question but never charged. But you still got class.
AJ.
I come from the land down under.
Okay, now Fezman.
And in the words of Darth Vader, possibly a day long remembered.
Or, as they said, the king is dead, long live the king. All right, Kevin.
What a day! What a lovely day! That's what's my impression.
Okay, and joining us here, the lovely Carol Ann Swan. Wait a second.
Hello, happy Friday.
All right, and Texas Tim had to leave us, probably being summoned. Act in his guise of running a fully functional gas and cigarette depot, whatever it is. Okay, all right. So, okay, we might as well just throw it on the table. I'm going to get thoughts from everybody, then we'll open up and just go to open forum. All right, let's start with Carol Ann. What do you think about the Moffat exiting?
I'm not surprised because I remember reading an article not long ago. I think it was like right before Christmas or whatever, or maybe right after, where he was saying that he was thinking about going. So I'm not surprised. Now, you kind of knew. I mean, he can't do it forever. I personally don't have a problem with Moffat. But I'm not like all teary-eyed that he's leaving. I mean, he's just a showrunner. I mean, the ones that make Doctor Who is the doctor. I mean, the showrunner is just, the person who hopefully creates a good product, but it's the actors that we're all in love with. So, a good word to say, 2 words or 3 words, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, it's not affecting me. I'm still going to love the show no matter who's doing it. What makes the doctor or Doctor Who is the person who plays the doctor. So, yeah, I really don't care.
Okay, let's move on to the Fizz.
Yeah, well, when I first read the news, I thought, wait, is this another fake article? And then I went on to some of the Doctor Who sites, and I was like, whoa, well, this is actually real. And then, of course, when Moffat first joined, I, like most people, was generally excited. And even towards, the middle, I didn't exactly hate him, but there was just a couple of things I thought he did wrong with Series 7. And then he definitely improved on Series 9. And there were just a couple of things I didn't like about it. But, I'm looking forward to what Chris Chibnall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what he brings, because at least he's had a bit of experience with Torchwood as well, and he's won BAFTA awards. So hopefully, we'll take a new take on Doctor Who and make it great again.
Okay, interesting. Okay, joining us late, William, say hello and tell us what your thoughts are on the Moff exit.
Hello, and hey, now, how you doing, buddy? I don't really care if he's leaving. He already wanted to leave already for a while, and nobody wanted to take the job. So now you're gonna have somebody that come in that's only 1 for 3 when it comes to good stories. So right there, he's in a section. What should happen is before Moffat became showrunner, he had some good stories that he wrote. Since he didn't have to deal with running a show, he had some good stories. So maybe he could come back and write 1 or 2 a year, especially for my sake. Since I feel Capaldi should stay on more than 1 season. Just an again. Now, does this mean the BBC is going to use this as an excuse not to show Doctor Who this year? I don't know. We don't know when it's going to start filming.
Well, they announced that you're only getting the Christmas special this year.
That means this is the 3rd actor playing the Doctor that got the short end of a stick, because because we know very well, us who've been seeing Doctor Who for many years, how Colin Baker got screwed. We see how McGann got screwed for only doing the movie and only got a 7-minute return. And now Peter Capaldi, who's been playing the Doctor much better in a few years, is going to get the short end of a stick, because that means he won't come back to next year, and then everybody wants him to leave.
Hang on. To be fair, he's the 3rd actor in a row that's had this problem. He's been there for 4 years, but only done 3 seasons up until the end of next year.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said this is the 3rd actor that's going to get the short end of the stick. Yeah, what's messed up. It's not their fault. It's the BBC fault.
No. But the same thing happened with Smith. He did 2 specials in 2013. Tennant had the 4 specials in 2009. It's happened to everyone they've cast, with the exception of Eccles. So
okay. Let's move on to AJ.
I guess it was in the wind for a while. He sort of seemed like at the Doctor Who festival last year, like that was going to be his sort of hurrah this season, and maybe the next one.
Hang on a sec. All right, go ahead.
In a way, it's a good thing to get fresh blood in. Chibnall, I don't mind. I liked his Torchwood stuff. I liked his Doctor Who stories and Broadchurch, so he could do just as good as Moff, if not better.
All right, Texas Tim, now that you're back with us, what do you think of the Moff exit?
Well, I think it's not unexpected. It's about time. I mean, 5 series over how many years? 6.5? That's it's about a good average to go out on. I think I'm kind of relieved that they've got somebody to replace him that was actually a fan of the show, just like Moffat and RTD before him were. So they really grew up watching it, and they know what works and what doesn't work. As far as Chibnall, though, I mean, it remains to be seen. I know Broadchurch was very popular, and that's probably why he got the job, because it was a very successful series a couple of years ago. And I don't know. It's like AJ just said. It's kind of time for this show thrives on change. I mean, both in front of the cameras and behind it. So I mean, it's going to be a new ball game now. We'll see what he brings to it.
Oh, okay. Well, if he shows up, on his first day of work wearing a Hawaiian shirt, panic. Okay, for you JNT fans out there. Okay, Kevin.
If there is any.
I said a lovely day, but that was just a joke. It's I really liked the Moffat's episode, but the exit comes for me. I saw some articles about that he was hinting that he was leaving because you got the Doctor Who festival, you got the end of River Song, Christmas special, and he was in between because he has Sherlock, and Sherlock fans are asking for a series for how many years now? Again, 1 year or 2, and I think the pressure got him too much as a writer and showrunner. So I can expect that the show like not X, but X is the show. Like screw you BBC, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to leave, and I did 5 series, so that's a good start. Just like was TV. was the you know, was the just like I'm going to call it the Tenet era. It's disappointing, but you have to look at the not at the showrunner, but the actors. Just like Caroline said, the actors are performing. The showrunner are just doing the scripts, and you know. But it was a good one. Let's say that. And well, this year not freaking Doctor Who, but we get Class.
Okay, Beefhead.
Tim makes a very valid point. It does. It's a show that thrives on change, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera. At the end of the day, he's the guy that provides the ideas for stories and, to a certain degree, the words and the actors and their interpretation of it and everything like that. It's a poison chalice, whichever way you get to it. Perhaps it's a case of that he feels that he's got to the point where he has no more left to give. I don't necessarily know what his motives are behind it. I mean, last year was an excellent series. If you use that as a benchmark for potentially what he knows is going to be his exiting season, then it's going to make it a very interesting time indeed. But the way the stewardship is and everything like that, it does make for a sort of a bit of a mishmash, and I'm sure we'll get onto that as time goes. But I think hindsight is a fantastic thing, to be honest with you, that perhaps, down the line, the people who were naysayers or had issues with it, the people who were saying, ding dong, the witch is dead, we've stormed the Bastille and the walls of the BBC have fallen down, and, guillotine and everything like that for Moffat and everything like that, will be very happy. But perhaps their opinion may change, as time will go on. We knew it was going to happen at some point or other. The big elephant in the room really is perhaps where things stand with clearing house, which is something that we'll have to address as time goes on. I just what I don't feel comfortable about with is just the way things feel sort of adrift at the moment, and I think that's purely down to the BBC, that they need to really set out where the picnic tables are and everything like that. Because I feel to a certain degree this year the fans are going to be milked like the proverbial cow, because pretty much there's not going to be anything but Class. Tim, I know, is very said the DVD range is pretty much got to where it can be now. Are we just going to be rehash stuff, everything like that? You do need to feed the tree. You need to keep replenishing it, and I'm not sure whether Class is necessarily going to do that. But
I don't think you should look at Class as a replacement.
I'm not looking at it as a replacement.
It's not even really a spin-off. Only just the school is mentioned, I don't think.
That's it. I
it's
feel it's
done by a whole different crew.
Yeah. Oh no, I do. I feel it's a stopgap. I think it's going to be an interesting take to go back to a producer perhaps who's going to be purely focused on the show. I'm not necessarily dissing Moffat and saying, he's splitting himself between Sherlock and everything like that. But you're going to get away from those accusations. So you're going to put that to bed. But he's gone. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. The last season was spectacular, and all I hope is that he goes out on a high. If he's planning something big, then great. But I hope it's not at the expense of losing someone who's a very good doctor like Peter Capaldi.
Okay. One good thing that's coming out of this, though, I'm agreeing with. Doctor Who's going to air in March. They're going to put it back to spring where it belongs, I think. I don't think it ever belonged in the autumn slot.
Can I ask you a question, though, about that? Because what difference does it really make? I mean,
because then it's not airing versus like X Factor, Strictly Come Butt Licking, and all those other shows that come around that time. It's not going to be up against the new season of reality shows, which I think is going to bring back a little bit more of the audience. Hopefully. Well, you never know.
I don't know, actually, but anyway.
Well, I hope they don't split it like.
No split.
So besides so the only thing we're going to get in 2016 is the Christmas special.
That's it.
They're not going to do nothing else, like say like an Easter episode.
They're saying spring 2017. And we're not hearing March now, so I don't know. Like I said, we'll find out. More details come in.
Can I just add something about that? About it being in March? I mean, the way I look at it, is that gives them, the writers, the actors, the whole thing that's centered around the production of Doctor Who, that gives everybody a chance to really make an awesome product. Because last season, in my opinion, was the best season since since it came back in 2005. And you guys all know what a huge Matt Smith fan I am, and I just think last season kicked everybody's ass, and now there's really, I don't want to say there's no excuse, but there really isn't, because they're going to have essentially a whole year to really tweak this thing and make it special. And also, it's season 10. You don't know what's going to happen. They can bring back other doctors. Who knows? Maybe they decided to do this because they were saying, "Hey,
let me interject there. It's not the writers who may want either a past doctor or a companion to show up. See, it's the head honchos in the BBC, and they say no, it's gonna be no. That's why we need. That's why we saw nothing besides Tennant, Smith, and Hurt in the 50th.
But if I could add.
But still, you never know. So, I mean, I actually don't mind this, because actually having it during the end of the summer and stuff like that, people have things to do. Right after the summer, you're getting ready for Christmas and stuff like that. And sometimes it was a chore watching Doctor Who. So giving everybody a year off and really making an awesome product and then having it in the spring, I'm actually looking at this as a positive, because
but they're not really taking a year off. They've just delayed the start of the making of the show for a few months. They're taking basically a 6-month break, and I don't think that means they get any more time to make it. I agree with your point. You would think that would give them time to make the best series ever. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're still going to be budgeted to use the same amount of time, the same amount of money to do what they always do and get their 12 episodes in the can, plus a couple of Christmases, apparently. So, I mean, I hope you're right. I mean, I'm looking
at this as a positive thing. I actually think it's good for the series.
Well, hang on.
Can I say about page now?
There's something that I never thought I'd get to say that I get to say right now. Vil, your thoughts on the Moffat exit?
Oh.
Don't forget his cut.
Bunker.
All right, you're good.
And no F-bombs.
No.
Because I didn't.
Holy bleep, 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 F-bomb. Boop. Okay. I had to be as retardedly comical about that one as I could. So my thoughts on this. Well, this is kind of a mixed bag. I have felt that Moffat can write good when he's not showrunner, but there's something about him being showrunner and basically making death into a caricature that just really always drove me nuts. And I'm not saying that he's never done anything good. Let's be honest. I thought that the last series was great. I just don't know why he couldn't make every other series that good. So I'm glad that he's gone. I think that the way that they're doing it by pushing off Doctor Who a whole other year is really stupid. And I do hope that Peter Capaldi stays on with the next showrunner, because I think that honestly, he's going to get better scripts that are worthy of him as an actor. And even as good as this last series was, I don't feel he's gotten the scripts that he deserves yet.
Okay. Phillip.
Like everybody else has said, I've not been surprised about this announcement, and it was a long time coming in my eyes. The only story that I've ever thought that Moffat done excellent with was the 11th Hour, and ever since the only one that really made me think, wow, this is going to be a good show under this man. But ever since then, he just seemed to have lost his way a bit. And for me, with what was the last story we had? Is it Hellbent, or was it Heaven Sent? Heaven Sent.
Husbands of River Song.
No, the last season run story, right?
Hellbent.
Hellbent. When the way he mucked that about, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. So I wasn't too happy with that. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that we won't have any more Moffat tropes to screw up the Who lore somewhat.
No, you're going to have Chibnall tropes, and it's going to piss you off even more.
We don't know that yet. But all I'm saying is, this gives a chance for the TARDIS to have a new lick of paint and the show to be a fresh thing for us to look forward to. Okay, the year gap is a bit of a screwy thing, but I can wait. As long as I don't get hit by a bus in the meantime, I'm happy to wait.
I'm the first to say this man right now just told a fib because he cannot wait. He is very impatient and he goes nuts when nothing else Doctor Who is on.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's go to Graham.
Like everybody else, I'm not surprised. I feel as if I'm Charlie Bucket and I've just won a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory. No, it doesn't really bother me. You know, as the two Tims have alluded to, the show thrives on change and renewal. So, you know, I'll say thank you, Moff, for your 6 seasons, actually, no 5, if you want to count next year. So, here's for the 6 seasons. You've done the best you could. And Chris Chibnall, you poor deluded fool. You poor son of a bitch. I hope you know what you're getting yourself in for.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Matt Rose.
Oh, hello. He's been up and down as a writer since he came on board. It's been nearly 11 years because he came over from the Russell T Davies slot as a writer, but officially 2010. He has been very marmitey since he took over as showrunner, but it's not to say I haven't enjoyed some of his run. He has made some iffy choices in that, and I'll say that, but I can thank the man for bringing back Tom Baker, Davison and McGann, but other than that, and creating the War Doctor by the incredible Sir John Hurt. That is still one of my favourite versions, no matter what you lot say, Phillip. And it is just that he's been very 50-50, but it's not unexpected, like you lot have said, that he's leaving, and it is about time that he packs up his bags as a writer from this show. Who knows? I don't know what the future lies for him and Sherlock, given that he won't have hold on Who anymore, but it's nice to welcome on somebody new who's familiar with the show and also worked on Torchwood, another pet project of Russell T Davies at the time, so it's nice to have a familiar name.
Okay.
Can I just add there? By the way, can I just add there? She's still talking, Matt. You're lagging.
Yeah, I think it's the way of the future.
And he's gone.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open up the floor here. So, all right, we're wide open. Let's run down the resume.
The resume?
Yes. Well, so to speak. Don't worry. All right. This is Chris Chibnall.
What was that? Father's Day.
Yeah, these are the episodes he wrote for Torchwood. Cyberwoman. Oh my God, we won't talk about. I did like Countryside. I did like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. End of Day.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did really love Exit Wounds.
Yeah, that's everyone liked.
Yeah, but that's why I think because he's done Torchwood, he might bring death back to Doctor Who.
Oh, enough with the death thing. It's all just boring.
Oh, the power.
But you go up and he did Life on Mars. I love that series.
That was brilliant.
So John Sim can be the master again.
That's all well and good. Look at the scope in which it is, though. There's an adult-focused program and a family-focused program. Look at what is the family focus, which is the Doctor Who output that he's put out.
Yeah,
but you have to work at the time in the remit that you're given, which is that.
I like dinosaurs.
We're not going to get that in Doctor Who now because of when it's broadcast and the audience it's directed at. So you have to base it on the Doctor Who output.
PS was good.
Yeah, what's PS?
PS was about the Doctor explaining what happened to Amy and Rory.
No, that was Rory explaining.
No, yeah, it was for Dad, Rory's dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that little cartoon thing.
Unfortunately, it was never filmed, so we only got the storyboard version that was narrated by Arthur Darby.
Oh, okay.
Only one of those stories in Doctor Who lineup is Worthy, 42. The rest are a bit meh.
The rest of them are very safe.
Yeah.
The rest of them are safe.
One at a time, guys. Come on, we got a lot of people here, so.
Just a few days ago, I gave Dinosaurs on a Spaceship a 10. I think it's a very entertaining episode, a very good episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, I know people have got the bugbearer with the power of three, but aside from the last 5 minutes for a lot of folks, that was a great episode.
Yeah.
Same here. I agree with you. It was good except for the last couple minutes, and then okay, Shockery go bye Sonic Screwdriver.
Yeah.
But okay, Hungry Youth, Cold Blood. I kind of like those. It brought us back to Silurians. 42 was really intense.
Yeah, that was my favorite one.
Burn with me. Yeah,
that's what I feel. 42 was intense, but the other ones, I mean, my criticism of Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, it's a very safe thing. It rolls along and everything like that, but it's very nice. Maybe now, as an audience, we appreciate subtext, the darker tone that we've had, certainly with the last season and everything like that. Maybe all I'm hoping is that what proceeds and when he takes over stewardship, he will take what has gone on before as a benchmark or as an indicator. So the tone that we've built up so far continues. It's purely speculative, but that's my hope.
I hope so, yeah.
But is that a fair assessment? Because don't you think that the tone was changed somewhat from RTD's day over the past few years?
Yeah, I think it has. It's evolved and changed. I think to a certain degree, it's become more adult. I think the perhaps the viewing audience has been. It's not just directly focused at perhaps a younger audience. They've tried to expand it and make it a bit more all-encompassing. So as it used to be, you used to have something for the kids, something for the dads. Do you know what I mean? You used to have a mishmash.
But I do think it's important that the new guy build on what's come before, but not necessarily be enslaved by it. I mean, he should be able to have his own tone that he comes up with for it. Yeah. Moves ahead that direction.
One thing I don't want it to do is just play safe, because then you have a tendency to stagnate. I do want innovation. That's the one thing that I hope will come from it.
Just like Heaven Sent. That's.
I mean, it's tough though, because you got to remember this is technically still a family show. So I mean, you don't want to get too adult and dark because the kids are going to be like, no. But I mean, you need that.
I don't think
like a yin and yang. You need both.
Yeah, well, I don't think that any of us are really advocating anything like, say, a screwing.
I know.
Face there.
I know, but you don't want to get too dark where the kids are.
Blitz.
No, but all I want is less sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. Where it's not so pedestrian suburbanized too much. I want it to be a bit more out of space, going to other planets, and doing the alien invasion thing.
Well, again,
we talked about this. Of course,
it depends on the budget they're willing to put for the story for it to take place in outer space like that.
But yet again, I have to bring this forward. The classic series was able to create alien adventures outside of Earth remit. So, and we've got more money now than we ever had with Doctor Who. Let's try and
again, Phillip, inflation.
That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point.
Also, you got to take into account that the classic series also had more time to tell each story. They were in a serial format. You could have one episode that lasted 2.5 hours sometimes. And so I think that's why they stick to Earth, is it saves a lot of time.
But then it becomes a bit of a
and tied into audience expectation, Phil. You have to sort of ground yourself. I know you'd love it. We'd all love it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I really love it.
Yeah, fuck me. I'd love it if there was Game of Thrones.
I really love it when they go outside of Earth. I really enjoy it when they do stuff that's away from Earth. But
I'm looking forward to the new design of the Candyman in 2018.
Take that back to your wet dream. That's the only way you're going to get it.
I got an injection from the call.
Candyman would make the best doctor ever.
Oh, yeah.
Why the Candyman? What is your obsession with the Candyman?
Oh, hang on.
I mean, the big question is, do we all have faith in Chris Chibnall's run when it arrives?
Until we see it, but the proof will be in the pudding.
Exactly.
True.
To be fair, Phil, he did get quite a lot of accolades for Broadchurch. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it was.
Yeah, but I've never seen. I've never watched.
I know, but it was a very popular program on both sides of the ocean.
Yep. So put the effort and go watch it.
Yeah, but isn't Broadchurch a non-sci-fi program? So therefore,
it doesn't matter. It's a drama program. That's what Doctor Who is more often than not.
Yeah. Phil, look at what RTD did before he did Doctor Who. Come on, that was
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I understand where you're coming from.
Hold it right. Kevin's had his finger up here for a couple minutes. What is?
Yes. I want what I was going to say about the era and shit. I want. I don't know, a combination of the WashTD lightness and the Steven Moffat's, tone.
Oh, well, you're just too bloody hard to please.
Exactly. On the plus side, though, Chibnall has been a fan of the show his whole life. I mean, just like RTD, just like Steven Moffat. And that's a good thing. That means he's got plenty of good ideas of where he wants to take the character and what he wants to do with it, rather than just getting somebody in that's like the hot producer of the moment from some other series that really can't be bothered with watching a classic series.
But I agree with Beefhead earlier on. That he's hoping.
I don't think in any way the BBC would have said, "Hey, what's your vision for the show going forward?" And he said, and he'll probably outline some ideas that he might have that they're going to say, we've got faith in it, but we're going to give you the job anyway. No, of course not. They're going to listen to what he's got on board, and there's other people who you say could have taken over from it and everything like that. So they must have faith in the vision that he's got going forward.
Unless he's just a front man for Moffat, and Moffat's still running the show behind.
There's Billy Goat's been sacrificed by a light pale moon. Shut up!
You never know that. You're a hypochondriac.
You should know by now the Scottish are still secretly controlling the program. Come on.
Okay. Now the question I have is: they're filming this year.
Christmas one.
We're supposedly getting a Christmas special.
Yeah.
So does Moff end on next year's finale or the 2017 Christmas special?
2017 Christmas special, I reckon.
It depends on the block, though, doesn't it?
When I read the comicbook.com article, it said that we're going to have the Christmas special, and then he is writing season 10. So there's the Christmas special, then there's going to be season 10. So.
But would you bring in Chibnall to debut on a Christmas special?
Yeah, will his maiden episode be that Christmas?
It depends. So doesn't it depend on if the Doctor leaves or not? Yeah. For example, if Capaldi leaves at the end of Series 10 and doesn't hang around for the Christmas, then the first episode of the new Doctor would be the Christmas, like Tennant was. If Capaldi decides to do another year with Chibnall, then chances are, it depends on the blocking, where they block the episode. If it's added, then Moffat's last episode will be the Christmas special. Or it just maybe the 10 and Chibnall will start. It's hard to say. It's one of the other.
It's obviously one or the other. It's just a wee bit weird that if it pans out the way it should, you're going to have an episode of 12 to fit in plus 2 Christmases, one before and one after.
That's it. I'm struggling with that too, G, if I'm honest. Because your DVD, like, say for argument's sake, if you take the current DVD structure, you've got the season with the Christmas special bolted onto it.
But they've already done that. It's upcoming buzz. There's a Christmas special on each end of the series.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say it took a lot of gin and tonic to talk him into this.
Yeah.
Still pissed. You hear what I said?
I'm a little off topic, but what's Broadchurch?
Oh boy.
Okay,
It's this church where all of these ladies hang out, and it's set in the 1930s.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the good side of Gray's Point. That's what it is.
Hang on. Let Tim repeat what he was saying earlier. I might have talked over him there for a second.
No, I was just saying, I was replying to Beefhead that the series box set for Series 9 has the Christmas special on each end of it. I mean, it starts with last year's Christmas and ends with the River Song Christmas.
So in theory, in theory, you could have Moffat doing bookends. He could do the 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, that's what we don't know.
That's not what they're saying. They're saying he's doing the 12-part series, and that's it. That's what I got right here.
So,
okay. So then there you go. That's your answer.
The thing that sort of gets
that's definite. Okay.
The thing that gets to me is this: it's saying like, oh, well, he's going to be showrunner in 2018. Does that mean he's going to be showrunner of broadcast from 2018? Because the thing is, otherwise, what's going to happen in 2017?
Yeah.
I don't care about what's going to happen in 2017 because right now I'm still worried about what's going to happen to me because when I saw that, the first thing I thought was, oh man, that must have been some great mushrooms on my pizza. Moffat's leaving. I'm seeing everything that I want. Then I read a bit further, and oh, there's no series for this year. I'm having a bad trip.
Well, you know what?
Here's the part that does have me questioning because it says right here they're going to air Moffat's final 12-part series, which is going to be spring of 2017. But Chibnall's debut series as head writer and executive producer will launch in 2018. Well, yeah, you're right. What about Christmas for 2017?
Yeah.
I'm guessing
what's the
Moffat's
filming?
going to end on the Christmas special.
Yeah, but
It's either
what's
tacked on to the blocking of Series 10, or it's going to be included at the start of Series 11. It's not that difficult.
Well, it's going to be tacked on to the end of 2017 then.
But
because
I wouldn't think
what's the filming?
start with the Christmas
Hey,
episode.
at least we get a wilderness year.
What will the filming be in 2017? Because in theory, you would expect them to film season 11 in 2017, whether you're going to air it at the end of 2017 or air it at the end of 2018. So what are you going to have? Are you going to have, in essence, him working as showrunner for the filming of season 2017, without title? For it to air in 20,
no.
Or are they going to go back? Or are they going to go back to filming at the start of 2018, with it viewing at the end, at the end of 2018?
Tim. In April of this year, they will start filming Series 10. Yeah. That will be in the can by whenever they finish doing it, probably by the end of the year. That will broadcast next year, in 2017.
Yeah, and whilst that's being broadcast,
they will be filming for the next year, which is 2018, with Chibnall in charge. So he will be the showrunner. Moffat will finish his last episode and go on and do whatever he's going to do, which is probably a remake of Bye Bye Birdie or something. And then we'll have Chibnall take over the reins of the show, and he will begin filming his series in the same time next year, probably.
April, May.
So in essence, he will become showrunner in 2017, not 2018.
While the show is on the air. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So that article's wrong then.
That's what I'm saying. Is he going to be a showrunner without title in 2017?
No, I feel like our show has become an episode of Common Core Maths.
Here's what's going to happen. His new series as showrunner will not debut till 2018. But he's going to be showrunner in 2017 when they film the series.
We have precedent. In 2009, Moffat was filming Series 5 after the window.
He was filming season 5 in June of 2009. Yeah.
The only thing is they don't want to have only the Christmas one this year. Don't use this Christmas one to introduce the next companion.
It's just the irritating thing is that then you're going to be running two showrunners at the same time because you're going to expect Moffat, in theory, to promote his last season, 2018, while you've got him
producing. His last season's next year.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Next year, you're going to have him promoting his final season as the face and everything like that. The other fella filming his season and everything.
But RTD done that in 2009. They were working up at Cardiff and he was away to Comic-Con with Tennant.
It just seems like a lot of Chiefs and no Indians.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't be a part of any of the promotions, because he would already be gone. So the people that will be doing the promotions would be the actors.
Well, to be fair, all the promotions will be done by February, March time, and then filming will begin April, May.
I can only hope come Monday that BBC are going to put out a proper statement and just clarify because it just does seem to be a real,
tap in the back.
That's it. Yeah, it's there is a word for it, but I really shouldn't use it.
Cluster F.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So that means if we're not going to, if there's only going to be a Christmas special at the end of 2016, then like Will just said, they can't introduce a new companion. They're going to think it's another one night stand person to fill in.
Well, you would think so, but if they did, it gives them another episode. It's up to them.
Why can't they introduce the new companion? I mean, technically, in a way, Runaway Bride introduced Donna Noble, even though she didn't show up, for like another season or whatever it was. She was there, so I don't see why they wouldn't introduce the, new companion.
The problem with that is, what happened if let's say a companion was already picked and we don't know about it, and the new showrunner doesn't like who the companion is.
Tough.
They would have already.
Because the thing is, if you think about it, okay, you have the beginning. You have 2016. They introduced a companion. That companion is still going to be in the 12 episodes, regardless of what the new showrunner wants, because it's still Moffat that's creating this new season 10. And then if he wants to get rid of that companion, he can do that when he starts producing his own shows.
But here's the big
simple.
Go ahead, Beef. Then we'll go to Tim.
No, it's tough. I think you can only put that down to ego, to be honest with you. Whether someone wants to put their own stamp as have a definite era on it.
No, it's simple.
But Tim says, no, I'm backing you up, Tim, to be honest with you. He says he's a fan of the show. So from that point of view, I would hope that that would not be an issue. If anything, if there's a companion introduced this year and it's going to be more than a year, that there'll be a bridge gap if the worst one of the, that Capaldi does change his mind and decide
it's
to go.
a phone call or a email, or a text even. Do you want to keep so-and-so on, or should I write her out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. It also depends on if the doctor changes, but you never know. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, that is the elephant in the room we've been kind of dancing around. Does anyone think Cappy is going to leave with the Moth?
I do.
I hope not.
I do.
I hope not.
I hope not.
It's very possible, because I remember reading another article on there where he was like hinting where he ended up having the same back injury as Matt Smith had, or the leg injury. It was upper leg. I couldn't
knee injury, mate.
And he was joking about how what's that word? Not physical, but how I guess physical.
The physical demands,
being the doctor is, because you're always like running around and doing stuff. And he did say he can't be the doctor forever. And if you think about it, for the most part, most doctors, with exceptions obviously, are only in it for 3 seasons.
I would think.
So this would be season 10 would be his 3 seasons.
Unless there's pressure from the BBC for them to change him. Which, is not, it has happened before. I would think that him having a second win with his 6 months off now, the chances are he's willing to go back and do another couple of years. That's me presuming to know what he's thinking. But I'm just saying, I would be happy to see him do another year with a new guy. And if he wants to, do another year after that. He can, break the record if he wants to be. But I don't see the BBC doing that.
I don't think I can't see them doing that myself. I can't see him doing that. I think he's going to run away with them.
You will never see another doctor who stays on as long as Tom Baker did. It just will never happen.
And I don't think it would work either. Because that's a very long time. Then it becomes like.
See, I think that could work. In fact, I think that it would work great with someone like Peter Capaldi. I just don't think that any of them will ever do it.
Yeah.
All right, AJ.
AJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if Capaldi might not physically be able to run around and all that, he might still want to be the doctor. Why not just cast a younger male companion to be like the?
Because he's told them he doesn't want that.
No.
Yeah.
Because his role, it's hard. It's pure. We're looking in a crystal ball at this point. To be honest with you, it's hard. It's a possibility. It could be. It might not be. I hope it wouldn't be, but if it happens, it happens.
Here's the thing, Phil. He said in an article about 3-4 months ago, no, I want a female because I don't want some young whippersnapper male coming in here and stealing my spotlight with all the action scenes.
But that's probably him just being a bit tongue-in-the-cheek about it.
Oh, really? So he's going to lie to everybody, Phil? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, but there's nothing wrong with having a male companion alongside him. I mean, I don't see the problem with that. You can have both a female and a male companion.
No,
but then you would get into the risk of having another Rory and Amy type of thing.
Yeah, I don't want another TARDIS tango that results in time babies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can quite easily write around that and not have that happen. They're just 2 people that happen to be in this world of Doctor.
Yeah. Rip Williams and the untempered Jizzle. Yeah, anyway.
Hang on, Kevin. Go on, Kevin.
Yeah, imagine this. Moffat has done the series, Capaldi is still there. But he doesn't do the Christmas special, the new showrunner does it. We got a sneak peek then of what's to come. We can, if in theory, you know, if that happens.
Well,
it's too tough to call. You've got what Capaldi wants, you've got what the BBC wants, and what the new showrunner's going to want. It's too hard to call. Yeah, there's a potential possibility for both outcomes. I think you that's something that you were just going to have to roll with the punches.
And having him do the Christmas special is really not a good example of what we could ever expect from him as a showrunner, just like we can't expect it from the episodes that he's done before. I mean, hell, before Moffat was a showrunner, he wrote great stories. He became showrunner, he wrote crap stories. So the only way that we're going to know what he's like as a showrunner is when it happens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I still get 3 episodes.
Oh, you're so cynical, you, honestly.
No, I just know the internet, Phil.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't know the internet. Know your own internet, not anybody else's.
It's my own internet.
Speak for yourself, Mr. Gallifrey Breaks.
Right! I've been on
Other websites are available.
One at Mogdash for one.
But in regards to Capaldi, I think you're just going to do Series 10 and that'll be his lot, really.
Well, you've been saying that the past 2 seasons, Phil, so keep saying that one day.
Yeah. I remember last year, like, oh, don't be surprised if Capaldi leaves in the middle of...
Yes, all right, so I was wrong on that score, but this time around it seems like a thing that's going to happen.
Phillip, what happened? Phillip, what if they replaced him with somebody older?
Oh, heaven forfend, a woman!
The thing we got to consider is Cappy was going on 57, I think, when they started, filming this particular, his first series. So now we're going into 2017. That means he's going to be 60.
60's a new 50.
So,
get out of it, Graham.
You tell us that when you're 60, Phil.
Exactly, Phil. Yeah, you know.
When's that, a couple of weeks?
How long will it take?
Will we still need you? Will we still feed you when you're 64?
There you go.
Can't feed himself now. What?
Oh my God!
The scary part is these. I've only been putting up like 2 videos a week for the last 2 weeks because there's been nothing. It was like the calm before the storm. Damn.
And now they've just put petrol on it. They really have,
yeah. I'm going to get hit soon by a storm. I want to hear that.
Bombarded for the next, 6 months with all these speculation articles about Chris Chibnall.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that Steven Moffat will continue to write and contribute to the series? Or do you think he'll
he will?
He should. He should.
RTD didn't?
Maybe he just wants a break now. I'm not being funny.
Could be that, yeah, because RTE burned out on it. That's why he hadn't done anymore. Maybe the Moff's getting the same way. We don't know.
Yeah. What would the speculation be if RTD came back and did one now?
Well,
I'm sure Phillip will let us know on Gallifrey base.
Well, no, unless
we're still waiting on Peter Jackson to direct the episode.
Yeah, that's true. Unless Chris Chibnall had an absolute idea what he wants for his tenure, he might need to lean on people like Moffat or RTD just to help, just to push him along a bit until
he got a point because the Olympics are coming. It's
at the end of the day, you're just if you're just contributing a script, then that's a whole different thing than running the show. And I could see where Moffat, after a year or so, might come back with a new idea and say, "Hey, what you want to try this?" I'm really surprised that Russell T Davies never did come back. I mean, I would have thought that he would have thrown something in there.
There's always that possibility that they don't like each other.
No, I mean, I agree with Texas. I mean, hell, he went and wrote Cucumber. There's, just stick a big giant eye in it. There's Alpha Centauri right there, man.
That was a good show, actually. Anyway, still.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you watched it, Graham. Oh,
no, I didn't. I read about it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, bro.
But from what I have seen from Broadchurch, it looks good, So
yeah, but I can't understand why people are using. Why are you using Broadchurch as a point?
Drama, Phil.
Because he created the series.
Yeah, but Broadchurch is a drama. Doctor Who is a sci-fi drama.
Sci-fi drama. Key word there.
Yes, but I don't want it to be.
Phil, why is it when it's up for awards every year, Doctor Who's in the drama section and not the sci-fi section?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Philip, what was sci-fi about the Reign of Terror?
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. You're trying to limit the show into your narrow thinking.
No, what I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, I can't, because I've never watched Broadchurch, I can't look at Broadchurch as a drama and equate it to for a Doctor Who kind of feel.
What's Broadchurch?
Well, I mean,
yeah, but that's a different thing.
Think about Cucumber. I mean, you watch Cucumber. That was a drama. I mean, that was no sci-fi. So I mean, it's the same thing. These guys can do two kinds of shows. I mean, it's not like they're limited to one thing, are they?
And coupling was a sitcom, so
and Queer as Folk sure as hell wasn't a sci-fi, depending on how far down the space time continuum.
No, but even I know is Moffat written all over it. He wrote it, but I mean, it's not like Doctor Who, is it?
Yeah,
when you look at his offerings, like Dinosaurs and Spaceship and all 40 and 42, and one out of three of those, it was a success for me. The others were a bit lame and meh.
Okay, but also bear in mind he's not going to be writing every single episode.
Yeah, I understand that.
He'll be overseeing it, but he won't be.
Yeah, I know where you're going. I understand. I totally understand what you're saying there.
He'll probably
and they will have gone to him and said, "What is your vision for the show?" Before they said, "Hey, you're going to do it." Then it's not like it's a bit like Doctor Who, The Apprentice. Do you know what I mean? It's
It's not as if the 7 stuff I on the wall and seeing what sticks, Phil.
Yeah.
Here's
a question: are they giving the new showrunner an assistant like RTD had?
I don't know.
We don't know that yet. We don't know nothing about that yet.
It'd be smart if they did.
I don't. At least we got one series with nothing.
They're not gonna muck about so greatly with one of their big properties that they're gonna give it to someone who they don't have faith in their vision for the show.
Yeah.
That much I will say.
Philip, in the immortal words of an artist not too long ago, don't worry, be happy.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be all right, Phil.
Exactly. We're going to see a whole new era. We're going to see lots of good changes. Think good thoughts.
Find your happy place.
Come on, think happy thoughts.
No, that's my greatest thing, because for me at the moment the show was looking tired, so I'm looking forward to a whole new spin on it.
The show was looking tired.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me speak.
AJ's had his hand up here for a couple of minutes.
AJ first, then.
I'm just gonna say, I hope they don't blow the budget on another new console room.
Oh, they will. No, they will. They will.
They will, though, because usually when the new showrunner comes, a new console room, and I'm really hoping they kind of stick with this one. I like this one because it has a whole new thing, but at the same time, it throws back to the classic show.
It got a ball.
Philip, don't expect 1 hour and a half garbage feature length episodes. You don't going to get that. I trust in him because I like 42 and Power 3, and I got what they say. I got my trust.
Well, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the argument, all right? It doesn't matter what the guy does. Somebody somewhere will have a flimming hissy fit. So why would it worry you?
Poisoned chalice.
Indeed.
What else can you say?
I know what story.
I might like it. Kevin might like it. Carol might like it. Will might hate it.
Phil will definitely hate it.
I would. You don't know that yet until I see it.
This is politics, people.
Take your own advice then. Until you see it, don't jump to any conclusions and say,
you're going to have a broadcast. What are you doing right now?
Oh, my God. I've never watched broadcast. I don't know what that is.
It just cracks me up how hyped when you're offended.
It's a drama.
Now, hang on 1 second here. Hold it. There's not going to be any new Doctor Who till the Christmas special this coming year, Philip. You got plenty of time to go back and watch Broadchurch. There you go.
But Broadchurch for me isn't Doctor Who. That's a different thing altogether. So I don't know why I should have to watch that.
Hang on, sorry to interrupt. Just on a side note, that kind of ties in, because if he's not starting to next year, that gives him this year to get Broadchurch season.
I got a better word for it.
Oh boy.
Sound rude. Don't be a bitch about it.
Philip, you watch all these other shows about superheroes that are on. God knows there's plenty of them. Why What's the difference? If you don't think about Doctor Who when you watch those, you don't need to think about Doctor Who when you watch Broadchurch. If you watch Broadchurch,
but what I'm saying, the way you're not going across is that you're giving Chibnall his merits because of Broadchurch.
No, I didn't give him a merit. The public did. The public did. It was a very popular show, and it was very successful.
Yeah, I've seen Broadchurch. It's a good show.
Phillip, I've never watched Broadchurch either. So I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I've never watched it myself. I do plan on sitting down one of these days and watching it if I have time.
My point is, like it or lump it, that's why he probably got, because it was very successful for ITV, wasn't it? I mean, it was.
Oh yeah, there was no shortage of awards on that one.
Yeah.
But then that means then that the only reason they give him the job, because if it's because of Broadchurch, is then what Doctor Who 2018 is going to offer is a kind of Broadchurch type of feel to it.
What did I put on Facebook? Thank you.
Phillip, he's done a lot of other things for Doctor Who and other shows. It's not going to be that exact same stuff.
No, I know he's done other things in Doctor Who, and I've already reiterated those episodes, but they weren't really good episodes for me.
We'll show that video where he's chewing out John Nathan Turner on air when he was about 12.
Phil, remember you had like, say for argument's sake, Roald Dahl, an actor, a writer who's very famous for all his children's writing and everything like that, and there was a doctor into it. He also did Tales from the Unexpected that was geared towards adults and had a very sort of gothic and horror-esque feel to it. Yeah, writers can do more than one style in the same way that the BBC have more.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying.
And
I'm hoping for
the
a bigger, better thing.
are not going to screw the pooch. They're not going to screw the pooch.
They do. They lose a ton of money.
I prefer the perfect hamburger, by the way.
It's too much of a viable cash cow, and sadly, that's all I hope, is that this year I will not be treated as such.
Yeah, just let it go.
Because this fallow year is going to be very tough.
Yes, it is.
It wasn't unexpected, though. I think the writing.
I know. I was prepared for it, but when you get it confirmed, I suppose your feelings always change. It's sort of like, oh yeah, well, if I'm honest, I would have really liked it to come back at the end of this year.
Yeah.
You know, Class. You know, I don't know. Class could be really good, but you know, it's a case of what I hope. And this was something I theorised earlier, is that perhaps you could have a couple of specials akin to what they did with Tenant. They probably aren't going to do that. That's not going to happen.
That's what I thought it was going to say, since we now know that there's going to be a Christmas episode.
All I hope
that's the winner. That's winner. Yeah. So I thought maybe they could make 3 more, one for spring, one for summer, one for fall.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think that will happen. The one thing I do hope...
They don't have the budget anymore.
Yeah. What I hope is that they might have the budget for, and might have the limit to do while they're doing this season, is to at least do a couple of minisodes. If you give me a couple of 5-minute minisodes that are perhaps of the same quality that you had of Night of the Doctor or something like that, and you gave it to me, 2, 3 this year, okay.
But if you're going to do that, you might as well bring everybody in and do a proper episode. That's the whole point.
You think that, but yeah, I don't think that.
We've been rolling on for over an hour now, so all I can say is, look, more news as it comes in. That's all we can say. And we can't judge the guy, just based off this. Well, we can't just say, okay, it's gonna suck. We got to actually see the product, in front of us before we decide to say if it sucks or not. So
we don't want to be Whovian fangirls that are fangirling over Tennant and Matt Smith.
Feed me, BBC, feed me.
Kevin, those fangirls grow up, all right?
I'm sorry, I'm just sorry.
She's a fangirl. She's really good.
I accept you.
I've had my own share of thoughts about Capaldi here and there.
Carol, I'm just joking. You're my friend. You know that. I don't care what happens as long as we don't get like a Justin Bieber type. Oh no.
Then I would stop watching. I would even watch if a woman became the Doctor, but as long as it's nobody under.
Let's not get into a hole we can't dig ourselves out.
But as long as it's nobody under, like, say, 18.
Well, yeah.
But 21.
I'm sure this will roll long and far into the night. This
But I
week.
think it's good that
That's
our
the
fans
problem.
know.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's bring this sucker to a close because we could go on this all night. To be honest with you.
And we will.
Yeah, we will.
So, I ask myself, the rest of the panel, hey, Steven Moffat, we're going to miss you.
The Moff is dead. Long live the CHIB.
And happy birthday, John Hurt.
Indeed.
Yes.
Oh yeah, happy
I'll
birthday.
ask myself and the rest of the cast, good night. See y'all tomorrow for Jessica Jones.
Go away.
Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.